As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at NFLSundayTicket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Healthcare professionals can lead their careers with LinkedIn. Discover jobs by specialty, preferred shifts, and even desired salary. From mental health therapists to radiology technicians, it's now faster and easier for healthcare professionals to find the right fit. Learn more at linkedin.com/healthcare. Side effects may include faster job placement, improved work-life balance, and increased career satisfaction.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They're gonna find it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you.
Ooh.
Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome in to the Birds of the Round Table. Another wonderful Victory Tuesday here on the program. It's just us two. It's finally the Recent Niche Show. Joining me, of course, David at PHL Eagle News. What's going on, buddy?
Awesome times, man. I know a lot of people are angry with the, tush push around the country, but I want to see an 80-yard drive with nothing but tush pushes at some point this season. So I'm happy it's still here. I agree with everyone that it's probably the last year, so we might as well just enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, Shane, he couldn't join us to start. There's a small chance he may just pop in random, but we'll...
Said he was going to do a drive-by, which was kind of startling. I didn't really know what he meant by that.
Yeah, I really hope it's not how I took it. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about the Chiefs game, and then, of course, we're going to move right along to the Rams. So to start us off, big topic is the offense. It has everybody in a downward spiral, even though we're up 2-0. There's always something in Philadelphia to complain about. David, what's your take on the offense so far that we've seen through 2 games? Is everybody's concerns and fears, are they a little valid, or do people just need to calm the hell down and realize that it's the beginning of a season and things have a way of working out?
Yeah, I'm more in the latter department there. I don't think the sky is falling. I don't think it's, that big of an issue yet. Last season, through weeks 2 through 4, the Eagles scored 21, 16, and 15. And everybody was calling for Kellen Moore's head then. I get the difference that Kevin Patullo is a first-time play caller as opposed to, a more veteran leader in doing that. But if you watch the All 22, and even if you don't, you've probably seen this play because it's made its way all over, Twitter, on X. The first play of the game was a shot call to A.J. Brown, and he was wide open. It was going to go for, whatever 70-plus yard touchdown to open, their game. If Grant Calcaterra blocked anywhere, as well as Dallas Goedert did, it would have been a touchdown, but that play got blown up. So after that play, it was just blitz after blitz after blitz. In fact, Spagnuolo called more blitzes than he has against any other team since he became defensive coordinator of the Chiefs. In all of those 100 games, this was the most he's ever done, which is just, a crazy amount of blitz. So what happened? They pivoted their game plan. All of the verticals that were going to be in the game plan are gone. And once you do that, it's very difficult. You have practiced and repped all week, done your walkthroughs for a certain game plan that has to get thrown right out the window. So you started seeing things that, a lot of people didn't like very predictable runs from the pistol and under center over and over and over and over. But the reason they have to do that is, yet again, because Dallas Goedert isn't there. Yeah. BVS isn't there. They don't have, the extra blocking. So that's the way they had to run. And it's hard to change your game plan, during the middle of a game. And I think what they did worked out pretty well. And at the end of the day, they moved the chains, they won the game. And it's not exciting, but the Eagles football brand has not been that exciting. They play smothering defense. They don't give up turnovers. I think Jalen Hurts has 4 turnovers in the last 19 games, and they're 18-1. The formula works. Rely on that great defense. Don't risk, plays. Sure. And the offense will evolve. Yeah. As A.J. Brown gets healthier, as Jalen Hurts gets more comfortable, it will evolve. So yeah. I would not, hit the panic button quite yet. But not to get too far ahead, but they're definitely going to have to throw a lot more against the Rams than they have these first 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Brett Eclipse chiming in. I don't think the sky is falling, but it's a little concerning that a guy who has been with Nick Sirianni the entire era can't figure out any sort of offensive rhythm. Yeah. Listen, I get that it looks a certain way. And listen, David, you brought it up perfectly. BVS and more importantly, Goddard. Goddard being out a game completely changes your game. And it also takes away, that security blanket. I mean, the Dallas game, they went to Goddard, 7 times, I feel like, in the first,
literally
quarter,
they did.
Felt like. That him being in the passing game helps Hurts get into a rhythm. And his run blocking skills are obviously, personally, I think either you or I could have done a better job than Calcaterra. But yeah, it was, like you said, it's hard to adjust. It's hard to also compare everything to last year. The last time that we saw this team, they were running through the playoffs, scoring 40, scoring 50, and demolishing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So obviously it's a new team. It's a new year. I just think people need to be just a little bit patient. And listen, it's not to say that Patullo doesn't deserve some sort of criticism. He's got to figure himself out. He literally is taking a formula that clearly works, and all he's got to do is just kind of rinse and repeat. So certainly he needs to figure out how he can make it work for himself, making it work for the.
And again, that Super Bowl was week 20. This is week 2.
Right.
You want them hitting on all cylinders at the end. They weren't playing that well, at the beginning. And if anything good came of it, Cameron Latu is going to end up being the quasi fullback tight end who might actually be able to block, because I think people will be surprised by his physicality.
Yeah, he the 2 times I saw him, and I don't mean this to sound negatively, but he kind of reminded me a little bit of Sidney Brown, of just a blur. He just flew by my screen, but as a fullback, that's kind of that's okay. As a safety, not so much okay. But yeah,
Hurts was blitzed on 16 of his 25 dropbacks, 64% of the time. He had 2.11 seconds to throw the ball.
Oof.
I mean,
that's crazy.
How far was anybody running down the field on verticals in 2 seconds?
No. Yeah, exactly. And you're not going to get those big chunk plays. And And Saquon's not going to have those big chunk runs when, especially when Goddard's not in there.
Right. And more importantly, the number to look at is when Hurts was blitzed on third down. He was 6 of 8 for 59 yards with a 95.3 rating. He was clutch, effective, and it wins games. It's not always pretty. And what did he say last year? It might not look how you want it to look, but it's going to be how he wants it, and it's going to win.
Yeah. And honestly, you said that right. Ultimately, it's all about wins. That's the only stat I care about Jalen Hurts. Everybody wants him to throw for 4,000 yards and, 40 touchdowns and this, that, and the other. Couldn't care less. As long as the turnovers are low and the wins will be high. So that's for sure. But all right, moving on to the defensive side of the ball. Again, I thought they played a really good game. I'm really loving what I'm seeing out of the two rookies. Makuba is certainly just flourishing right in front of our eyes. Obviously, had the interception, which was certainly clutch. But I thought outside of that, he was exactly where he needed to be. He was great at, coming up and affecting the run game. Obviously, he got the half sack with Za'Darius. Yeah, that crazy stop on Hollywood Brown. I mean, Hollywood Brown got like a really nice pick and had complete separation. And by the time the ball got to him, man, he just got completely around it and boom, right on his ass for the fourth down stop. So what are your takeaways from this game defensively?
To piggyback on Makuba for a second, for everybody who, watches college football and gets into the draft, you could tell that Makuba had the skill set that was going to flourish in a Fangio defensive system. The reason he fell to the Eagles was because of his 170-pound frame. Sure. And you saw the downside of that a little bit in this game when he tried to go up and knock down the 230 Patrick Mahomes, who flattened him right to the field.
You got a little embarrassed there.
Yes. And, that's going to happen sometimes, but he's going to, bulk up his frame. But the good are the 6 tackles, the half sack, the TFL, the pass defense, the constant communication on the back end. And to keep with that theme, that's what's been most impressive with Jihad Campbell. His athleticism, his range, his height, his, sideline to sideline burst, all of that you saw in college. I figured that would translate well to the NFL, but his understanding of the defense is what is so impressive. Like, he's being used like Zach Bond. He's being thrown all over the field, and he completely is trusted by Fangio and has a really great understanding of the defense. Yeah. And this is week 2 from a rookie. Right. I mean, it's unbelievable. And that's the biggest takeaway. All the splash plays aside, which are great, but the way he has understood this defense for a guy many didn't even think would be playing right now. I mean, he wasn't even supposed to start camp. Yeah. So it's unbelievable. And it just shows you the difference. We've talked about it before, but the difference in the philosophy of, upper management, Howie, the ownership of drafting these guys from the SEC like Georgia and Alabama. These guys have been coached hard and they're ready to play. They're ready to make a difference. The culture on the Eagles is set, and Quinion and Cooper showed it last year, where you can throw 2 rookies in there and get by with it. And not only get by with it, flourish in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Howie's just on such a freaking heater. I mean, it's amazing how quickly these guys get involved, and not only involved, but become important, integral parts of the defense. So we got a couple of comments here. Let's see, David, I think we need to realize it's week 2 and the Super Bowl is not next week. We can only go from here. Fly, Eagles, fly. Brandon chimes in. Patullo equals Brian Johnson.
Not even close.
It's all about wins is what we said in 2023.
That's a common theme I hear, but that was a lot different because they had never done anything up to that point. It's a different ball game now.
Yeah, no, agreed. In the words of Jalen Hurts, we won the effing game. Shut your ass up.
And to talk about a couple more guys before we move off of defense. Jordan Davis, one of another great game for him, clearly off to the best start of his career. And, he had 5 tackles, 2 pass defense. I mean, he was causing constant interior havoc. He collapsed the pocket, reset the line of scrimmage, and his, partner to the side there, Moro Ajomo. I know everybody thought I was going Jalen Carter there, but we mentioned Ajomo last week, and he didn't disappoint, man. This young interior lineman just keeps pressure steady. He had a sack, a tackle for a loss. He's showing the kind of depth that the Eagles, have that few teams do and what they value in that. He leads the team in pressures with 8. He boasts a 13.8% pressure rate after 2 weeks. The drop off from Big Milt to Morrow has not taken place. And it's a testament to him and Fangio and this scouting department.
Yeah. And it's super important. Obviously you don't have Jalen Carter in the first game. So it's important that those two were to step up. Now you get Jalen Carter. They're still right there. I mean, let's be honest. I don't know if you saw, there were a few plays where Jalen Carter was kind of,
he's not in the best of game shape quite yet, honestly.
Oh, right, exactly. This is the first time he's actually had a game. I don't, I'm not necessarily worrying about it. Obviously, Brett Eclipse mentions it here, where Fangio did say something regarding Carter and his game shape and how Carter took full responsibility and said, "Yeah, 100%, and I will get that."
Which is all you wanted to hear.
Absolutely. And, for everybody who likes to ridicule Carter and for the antics and this, that, and the other, that's certainly a mature response to having your coach call you out and something like that. That I would assume most players would take pride in.
And Fangio did that unprompted. He wasn't baited into that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, I think while Carter gets ramped up, Jordan Davis and Ajomo have certainly been bright spots.
Even Young has had some pretty good reps when he was out.
Absolutely, he certainly has. Now, before we do kind of transition over to the Rams, what are your thoughts on the addition of Za'Darius? He only played 20 snaps and such an impact in such a small amount of snaps. I assume he'll get ramped up even further for this Rams game. What do you see for Za'Darius in this defense?
I mean, as you mentioned, he made an immediate impact. 4 tackles, a tackle for a loss, that shared sack with Makuba. And you talk about his production and his snaps, but Uche is not getting lots of snaps either. But what they are doing is Uche is like leading the league in pass rush or something, percentage or something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's unbelievable. But, those snaps that they're getting, those, 20 snaps are, effective. And they're coming in on, third down, second and longs, obvious passing situations. But what's more impressive to me is 3 years ago when we would do this show and Azeez Ojulari was on this team, we would all say, Howie didn't, have the best signing here on the offseason. And he had control over who would be on the game day rosters to play. And he would, had elevation rights. And Azeez 4 years ago would be playing right now.
Yeah.
But this thing is totally pivoted now because you have an adult in the room in Fangio who, no, this guy is going down and bring somebody else in. And Howie has evolved too. He no longer is trying to be the smartest guy in the room. Something isn't working out. You move on, you pivot. And that's exactly what Za'Darius represents to me, is that the Eagles, they're just full steam ahead, man. They're not, worrying about a mistake here and there. If it doesn't work out, move on to the next.
Yeah. And Howie has definitely grown in that way, realizing that you're going to make more mistakes than you do, hits, and it's okay. But, recognizing which is which and doing that quickly and being able to then transition is certainly has been his superpower lately. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think we all kind of really wanted Azeez Ojulari to work out.
And he still
Who
might.
knows?
Yeah.
He might. He still might. You're absolutely right.
Right.
It's only 2 weeks. You never know. He has a good week in practice, or, God forbid, somebody goes down and he gets a little bit more of an opportunity, steps up and does his thing because he has been there. He has done it. Again, it's just sometimes it's all about just, fit and the system that you're in.
And I don't think it's surprising that he's, not active right now. I mean, even when the camp that you and I went to, Uche was the standout.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, he was.
Aziz, wasn't really standing out at that point either. And I don't know why. I know he was injured, coming off an injury as well. And it could be as simple as that, but it was also impressive, how he handled it. They asked him about it. And he's like, obviously not what I wanted to do, but
Right.
I got to earn this, and
Yeah,
that's, that Georgia background yet again. That's,
sure.
that's just that culture that they have there.
Absolutely. One final thing, and this is only because Brett Eclipse brings it up. He says, do we see a Dory get benched this week? What are your thoughts on CB2 right now, and what could that look like, whether it be the Rams, whether it be Bucks, the future, whatever?
My biggest concern is tight end 2, quite frankly, but
Yeah.
to go to CB2, which I do think is a problem. It's the biggest problem on the, defensive side of the ball.
Absolutely.
It's their biggest vulnerability. I don't know who you're benching them for. If Keely Ringo was favored by Fangio, he'd have been playing, and that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Keely didn't even get a snap last season in the Rams regular season game. Jacorian Bennett, if you watch the All 22, you might not be calling for him quite as much as you were a few weeks ago. There were some moments there where, Adoree, I don't think lacks effort. And I think that his floor is higher, so to speak. Like there's issues, make no mistake about it. And going against Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams is not pretty.
No.
But, they have been changing things up. Q has been moving all around. I mean, hell, Q almost covered that damn play from 50 yards away.
I know, right?
I mean,
like if he would have gotten, and he did, he got his arm in there somehow. Yeah. If he would have knocked that ball out, that would have been one of the best recoveries I think I've ever would have seen.
I agree.
In the last, God only knows how many years. So,
but I just don't know who Fangio goes to. I do think you'll see more rolling coverage trying to help him. I mean, we mentioned the athleticism of Makuba. Maybe he, shadows him kind of to try to help out in some of these situations, but I just don't know who you go to.
Yeah, it's tough. You're right. I think a lot of fans have certainly said, all right, you know what? It was obviously Adoree over Keely. But hey, what about Bennett? What about Bennett? And again, learning this defense is proven to be pretty difficult. More so than your average, that's for sure. And maybe it's just a simple case of Jacorian Bennett just needing more time to kind of get used to how he can fit in to this defense. And
his physicality is probably the biggest issue.
Yeah.
With it. And again, maybe that's something you can be taught, be coached up on. He may have never been asked to do that in, Vegas or wherever, but
yeah. Yeah. So you never know what could happen down the line if that's maybe the route, or maybe how he just, talks to Vic and he goes, get me somebody.
But if Fangio has Adoree out there, there's a reason.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Second guessing his decision making is not going to do anybody any favors.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think we've all learned that already.
And before we move on, special shout out to special teams, man. Jake Elliott, a 51 and a 58.
Right.
I mean, you remember last year?
More 50-yarders than he had all of last year.
Yeah.
And Braden Mann did he dip his leg in some special water or something, because he is booming.
He had a 70-yarder in this one. 70 yards. Averaged 55 yards a punt. And he's flipping the field. And that's a big deal with the brand of football the Eagles play.
Absolutely. If he keeps this up, I mean, my God. He was the both of them, honestly.
It's hard to beat the Eagles when you have to go 80 yards every time with him flipping the field like that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's also hard to try and stop them getting off the board when you have Jake Elliott knocking not just, 50 yards. That one was what, 57, 58?
58. It was supposed to be a 53 in the special teams.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and Sirianni let him have it. Big Dom had to get in between them. I mean, that was pretty bad.
But did you actually see that penalty though? What they called it on?
Where he was moving it a little bit?
Yeah, he just
he was adjusting the ball, really. But
yeah, exactly. That's that. Come on, NFL. If that's what we're calling ticky tacky things, things like that need to get out of the game. It's no fun. But all right, so that's it for the Chiefs. Eagles are 2-0.
Good riddance. They're 3-0 in the last 3 times they faced them, right? Is that right?
That is correct. So, moving on to a 1:00 home game against the Rams. LA comes into town. Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, and of course Puka Nacua. I'll ask you first. What is one matchup, Eagles offense versus that Rams defense, that you're going to be paying attention to on Sunday?
Kind of like what we alluded to a minute ago. It's Stafford versus the Eagles secondary. I mean, Stafford is good. He is efficient. His completion percentage is good. Few turnovers. The weapons, like we mentioned in Nacua and Adams, and the Eagles secondary, has that question mark at CB2. And McVay and their offensive coordinator over there, they know how to expose that. And this is a favorable matchup for the Rams passing game. And aside from all the rematch, revenge factor crap, whatever, a lot of those guys aren't even on the team anymore. These things rotate around so quickly, but the cornerback too, like we, kind of harped on, that is an issue. And Cooper DeJean will play a bigger role, especially when Puka, goes into the slot or so they have ways around it. But to me, that's the biggest matchup to watch, because Stafford was one play away from the Eagles not even celebrating a Super Bowl in New Orleans last season.
Sure. Now, speaking of Q, what do you make of the fact that you are certainly seeing him moving around, but you're also not seeing him necessarily shadowing, the one or even necessarily the two at all times, just like in Dallas and like last week. He's just kind of, again, I'm trying to get a good read on what
he's
the mindset
more on
is
the
for
one,
Q.
but it looks like he's covering more route types maybe than actual players. It's really hard to understand right now because it's 2 games in and it's so different than what he did
There's
last
no pattern
year.
emerging just yet.
Yeah, no. He basically just stayed on his side last year, and that he has moved around. I don't know the percentage, but 30-40% maybe. I mean, it's pretty high.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It is hard to ascertain exactly what the plan is with that. I mean, I'm sure there is one. They know what's going on, but it's hard to reveal itself in the all 22 this short of the year.
Yeah. And do you I guess maybe until either Dory gets his footing, whether it's that or until Jacorian is able to get out there, or whatever the solution at CB2 ends up being. What say you when we run into a team that has 2 really good offensive weapons like this, about having Q grab one of them and Coop grab the other, and just kind of go from there, and then use Adoree as kind of that an additional outside guy should one of those two be a slot receiver at the time.
Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. And this one is specifically for new customers who can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus over $200 off of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PINPULL. That's code PINPULL to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus over $200 off of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois, void in Ontario. Bonus bet expires 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Brooks Running reminds us that we're all powered by something. Whether it's the me-time energy of a run after a day at the office, the electrifying energy of your first marathon, or the infectious energy of a group run with your friends. No matter what energy powers you, Brooks has gear specifically designed to unleash it. So lace up and let it out. Let's run there. Visit brooksrunning.com today to learn more.
If you thought goldenly breaded McDonald's chicken couldn't get more golden, think Golder, because new sweet and smoky special edition gold sauce is here. Made for your chicken favorites at participating McDonald's for a limited time.
I know that they practice some packages to drop Cooper back into that type of defensive backfield. And Makuba could definitely come up and play the slot. I don't know how developed Mac McWilliams is or how much they trust him at this point to do that. But I would be a little surprised to see it a lot just because of how often the Rams offense, operates out of the slot. Sure. I don't know who's taking those Cooper Kupp slot reps, this season. I don't follow them. I don't watch them a lot. I just watch.
I know Nakua certainly jumps in there from time to time.
Yeah. I just haven't watched their game yet.
Devontae certainly,
No, that's the matchup. If Q can nullify Adams, because I assume that'll be the biggest, matchup he has there. And then, like you said, Cooper will probably man down the slot, and then it's just rolling coverage to Alpadori as my guess. But I'd be very surprised to see Cooper on the outside.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I would too. But it's just at this point, it's just kind of like, all right, well, what's the lesser of two evils?
Right.
When one player is, and just like any defense, you have one weak, link in the chain.
Right. If they were 0-2, this might be a different conversation.
Yeah, you're probably right on that one. All right, so let's flip it now and go Eagles offense versus the Rams defense. What are you going to be looking for there?
Jalen Hurts and his dual threat ability and his ability to extend drives, because the key to the Eagles' brand of football offensively that they've been playing is no turnovers. Like I think I mentioned at the top, I think he has 4 turnovers in the last 19 games, and time of possession, which is something they won in the Chiefs game. I think they had the ball 6 or 7 minutes longer than the Chiefs, and the Chiefs had, 80 or 90 more yards. But a lot of those yards come from desperation because you're playing catch up. And the Eagles don't care about the yard totals. Like, Chris Jones tried to tease Jalen Hurts about his 101 passing yards. It doesn't matter. They're playing a game of keep away. And if you can reduce Matthew Stafford's possessions, you have a great chance of winning the game. And that'll be the game plan. How far it works, I don't know. This team behind the line is something that hasn't been talked about that much, but they've given up a lot of pressure this season.
Yeah.
And the run game, the holes haven't been there like they were last year. You have Landon Dickerson, who is banged up. It's amazing he's even playing these games.
Exactly. It seems like every 2 seconds he's dealing with something else and going through it.
Tyler Steen isn't Mekhi Becton. If he was, he would have been the starter last season. So they're not plowing, these holes like they were. And even last week, when you look at the box score and you see Barkley had 88 yards, it was kind of like, wow, did he? Because you don't really see there's none of this splash plays we're
Yeah.
used to seeing.
Yeah. Well,
So
and I was looking, and it caught my eye probably about 5 or 6 times, and probably more that I just didn't notice. But Saquon Barkley was running into the back of our offensive lineman, like
a couple
consistent.
times
Yeah.
he flattened somebody. I think it was Lane actually.
Yeah, it was Lane.
Yeah.
Lane went absolutely flying in. But yeah, it was very odd. And again, I want to maybe chalk that up to the newness of Steen and the injury of Dickerson and not having Dallas Goedert, but
Not having your fullback.
and not having a fullback. Well, joining us right now, making his 42-minute late arrival is our good buddy Shane. While
From a back road in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I was.
What's up, guys?
What's going on,
sir?
buddy? How are you?
Better late than never.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. I hope you're not doing video because we can't see you.
I am not. I didn't think I should try to video and drive.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I'm just on an AirPod. I don't if you can't hear me very good, I can just hop off. But I thought I'd hop in for a minute.
no, you're fine for the most part. But we were just getting into the Eagles' offense versus the Rams' defense. Yeah. And we obviously talked about Patullo and the offense, and I hope that David was able to walk a few people off the ledge, so to speak.
I'm probably more optimistic than Shane is, Will, but
I will say that I think the drop back passing game is a mess, and I tweeted out his stats, but I know not everybody's on Twitter about how the Eagles were just tipping their run pass splits based off of formation. And so some of that's got to change. But I do think they had some nice designs in the screen game and some of that stuff. Some of the things they've been bad at in the past, I thought they were really good at blitz pickups. And I thought Hurts had some good answers to the blitz, throwing hot into free runners. I thought they had some nice designs in the screen game. It's really just the drop back passing game that really concerns me right now. So I expected to be super negative when I was watching film on Monday. And I walked away thinking, there's some building blocks there on the offense, but there's a lot that needs cleaned up too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that more important than anything is again, it's literally 2 weeks. You have a brand new guy who's never been, coordinator. He is also getting his feet wet. He's also trying to figure out how he can fit into this offense that has already been very successful. So it's an adjustment period, and if there's anybody that's adjusted, it's certainly Jalen Hurts, who does it every year.
And they faced an unprecedented amount of pressure. I mean, it was not what they went into the game thinking was going to be, the defensive game plan of the Chiefs.
Well, and ironically, they were so much better against pressure than they were when the Chiefs didn't blitz. So
yes,
I'm kind of glad that the Chiefs continued to hammer the blitzes. And I mean,
just couldn't do the verticals.
Yeah, you get into a chicken and an egg thing there. Like maybe the non-blitz dropbacks really struggled because you were worried it was going to be a blitz. And maybe we'll see the Eagles push the ball downfield more, Maybe AJ was dealing with some injury stuff week 1 and he's not now, but you couldn't go vertical because of the blitz. So I'm willing to, give it a couple more weeks and see. There's some dramatic changes that need to happen, but I don't think any of it's out of the realm of reasonable adjustments that you can make. So I was more encouraged than I thought I would be when I was doing, watching the game live and doing post game after.
Yeah.
Love to hear it. Well said.
I was going to say, does anybody have anything they want to add to this Rams-Eagles game?
Let Shane talk about the defense, too. He didn't get a shot at that.
That's very true. Anything to add regarding the Rams offense versus that Eagles defense?
Yeah, it's going to be a big test for the secondary. I think we all like what we've seen from the rookies so far, and Andrew Makuba obviously has some big plays in this game against the Chiefs. I also think he had some coverage busts and some missed opportunities too, but that's going to happen. But the Chiefs basically have no wide receivers, and so you're going to go into the Rams game and you're facing Puka Nacua, and Devontae Adams is there now, right? I think that's where he ended up. I've still getting some of the new faces where they belong, but it's a top wide receiver duo. And so, Adoree Jackson, the spotlight's going to be on him. And I thought he looked better against the Chiefs, but that was a low bar and it was not very good competition. And so that's the biggest thing I'm going to keep an eye on defensively is how is the secondary going to hold up against Stafford, who we know just kills the Eagles every time he plays them, it seems like. A big test for the secondary coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as this front, four kind of come together with Za'Darius and Jalen Carter kind of, getting himself back into game shape. And I think that's going to be a real testament of how this defense is going to be, because if they can pressure Stafford, it's hard to get him down, but if they can get some pressure on him, that'll certainly help out that secondary for sure.
Yeah, and I think you could see the impact that Jalen Carter being back made too. I thought the pass rush looked good, and granted, there was a lot of blitzing against Mahomes too that I don't think you're going to be doing against most teams this year.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really just see, but I thought Za'Darius Smith looked good. I thought Jalen Carter looked good. Overall, I'm really optimistic about the defense. I think this defense has a chance to be just as good as last year if they can sort out cornerback too, because the pass rush certainly looks good. The linebackers have looked really good. Jahad Campbell's been better than expected. So
yeah,
maybe I'm just like overcompensating because the offense was so dreadful to watch, but the defense was just such a joy to watch play football. It was almost just like, let's punt on second down so I can watch the defense play some more.
Especially when you're getting 70-yard punts too.
No kidding.
Don't think I had that on my bingo card this year. It was truly a surprise for sure. Well, that is our Rams game. Do you guys want to go around and give your predictions, score predictions, MVPs?
Let's do it. Player of the game and picks.
Yeah.
Give it to Shane first. Give it to Shane.
All right, fine.
Oh, man. Me going first. That never happens.
Because you always host. That's why I figured to let you have it.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I'm going to say the Eagles win the game 24-17. And player of the game is going to be give me Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to be a bigger impact in this game and the run game, and hopefully the pass game comes together a little bit too.
All right, there you go. David, you're up.
I'm going a close game, 27-21. I do think the Eagles are going to have to put up a lot more points than they have the first two games to get the W here. And my player of the game, I am going with A.J. Brown. I think he is going to find matchups favorable against what is, a slightly depleted secondary for the Rams. Their CB2 is out. Somebody's going to expose it. A.J. Brown led the team with 8 targets last week. They are clearly making it an effort to get him the ball. So give me A.J. Brown for 100 yards and a touchdown, player of the game.
I'm going to go with Eagles 27, Rams 24 in a very, very close game. I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley. The man just knows how to play the Rams.
Can't argue that.
Yeah. Has over 400 yards rushing against them last year. So I like him to have his official breakout game of the 2025 season against the Rams.
Maybe we get another Jalen Carter sack to save the game late in the fourth quarter like we did in the playoffs.
I mean, I'd be perfectly all right with that. You know it. Maybe of the Patrick Mahomes hand in the face variety too. I'm not a big Stafford fan.
We remember from
last
year.
We all know you hate Stafford.
Yeah, we remember.
Okay, just making sure. I want it on the record.
Ryan's like, he's the most overrated quarterback that always throws for 300 yards and 7 touchdowns against the Eagles.
It does. Listen, I can't always explain my dislike for a player. It's just sometimes it's just you feel it in your gut, and then you just have to go with it. It's the Philly way. So that's all I know. But anyway, that is our breakdown from the Chiefs, talking about the Rams, giving our predictions and MVPs. Check in with us next week. We'll see who was right, and then we'll obviously talk about the dreaded Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, as once again we have to go down to Tampa Bay and face off against a team that just has our number. But we'll get to that next week. Thank you all so much for joining us, Brandon, Brett Eclipse, Adams. There's a couple other people in there. David. Yeah. And of course, Dibes from Party on Broad. Appreciate it, buddy. Anything anybody want to say before we get on out of here, or final thoughts or plugs or anything? Shane, I'll go with you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me on the inaugural Reese and Niche show. Always good. Always good to join in. Thanks for holding down the fort. Looking forward to being back next week with you guys. But Johnny and I will be doing our film review tomorrow afternoon. So if folks want to join in live for that, I've got to get through the defense. So I'm going to be watching and tweeting through the defense all 22 in the morning. Nice. If you want to follow along, and then we'll be doing our On the Shane Page film review show sometime tomorrow afternoon. So be sure and check in for that as well.
All right. David, what do you got?
Just follow, subscribe, like everything. Shane, is the merch available for the listeners and stuff as well?
Yes, it is. So I've tweeted a link. Listeners can also go to my Twitter, and there's a link in my link tree from my bio. But the link is EPPN, so like Eagles Pinpull Network, EPPN.printful. I forget what the .me maybe is the end of it. I don't know. It was but it's on my Twitter. I'll promote it next week too when I've got the exact link. But I think it's
got trucker
.me.
hats, got all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's EPPN.printful.me. So there's hats, there's mugs, there's shirts, hoodies.
Ryan's
and
boxing
I
gloves.
can potentially, yeah, no, not boxing gloves, and I can potentially look into other things. There's sticker sheets. If there's something you want, I can put the logos and stuff on it. So just let me know. But those are up on there. And I did order a hat, and Dibes ordered a hat. So they came fine. Quality was good enough, at least for me. So maybe you're fancier than me. I don't know. But you can go check that out as well.
Yep.
All right, well, there you go.
Definitely check all that out. You can check out a piece I wrote for Philly Sports Network in regards to Josh Uche and how he has started the season off rolling. He was a Chiefs cast-off, but he has become a pretty dangerous pass rusher for the Philadelphia Eagles, utilizing his small snaps to make a big impact.
Very cool. Well, yeah, make sure you do check that out. As far as me, you can check out another episode of Football Smack Talk Show on the Eagles Pinpull Network tomorrow at 5:30. And I will be talking about the Chiefs and going right into the Rams. And then make sure you're just you're following everything Eagles Pinpull related: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you get your podcasts. Like, follow, share, subscribe, rate, all that. Those little things do mean a whole lot for us. So we do appreciate it as always. And that's going to be it for us tonight. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully we'll have yet another Eagles victory Tuesday. So for Shane, for David, and for myself, have yourselves a great night from the Birds of the Round Table. Nope. This is hard.